Welcome back to Tanya in 5. Today, we recap letter 10 of book 4 of Tanya, Iggeret HaKodesh. In this letter, the Alter Rebbe enjoins the Hasidic community to dig deep and give charity beyond limitation. Beyond limitation means, number one, to give more than what is required by Jewish law. And number two, to give even when the times are tough and when it's difficult to make ends meet for oneself. And he explains as follows. You see, under normal circumstances and in a perfect world, we would live a life that's perfectly in line with divine desire. We live in limited bodies, limited conscious experience, and therefore God designed his mitzvahs and also in a very limited fashion so that they are perfectly commensurate with our way of living. Tefillin has to be a certain size and only put on in a certain manner at a certain time and by certain people. Lulav has got to be a certain size and it's taken on a certain day. Even charity has its limits. How much is a person required to give? And the reason why each of these mitzvahs have these limitations is because we live limited lives. And if we're going to connect with God in our little limited lives, God offers mitzvahs that themselves are limited for us to be able to experience in our limited way. Now, this would be an idyllic life in a perfect world where we live exactly the way we're supposed to as God wants, and each little part of our life is perfectly in line with the way Torah and God wants it. But we don't live in such a perfect reality. And unfortunately, sometimes we cross the line and we mess up. We cause a breakdown in the system. We ruin the divine flow of energy that's supposed to be entering into our lives through mitzvahs. What do we do now? How do we fix this? Well, this is what teshuvah is really for. But ordinary teshuvah is not enough because, as we learned in book 3 of Tanya, teshuvah is really about now going forward. From now on, I will never sin. But that doesn't necessarily fill the void of what has been caused in the past. If there's some divine energy I was supposed to elicit last week, and I didn't do so, the fact that from now going forward I'm never going to sin again isn't going to fill the void created by the lack a week ago. And therefore, I must dig much deeper and reach a place in me that is beyond perfect. A place in me where I feel so deeply connected that it is not limited by the usual human experience and the normal quote-unquote experience of my relationship with God. And if I dig deep to a place that transcends the normal experience, I elicit from God a transcendence that can fix even the past. But the teshuvah itself is not enough, because teshuvah is in the heart and thus remains spiritual. My emotion, my feeling that I feel during teshuvah is spiritual, and therefore its effect is spiritual. If I want that energy, that unlimited transcendent energy of God to make its way down into the world so that it really fill the void that was created in this world by my lack of doing Torah observance, then I need to have some sort of unlimited expression of my connection to God in the physical. And this is where unlimited charity comes in. Giving charity beyond the normal limitations. Pushing myself much more than I'm capable, or much more than was required. Consider it like this, says the Alter Rebbe. Imagine, God forbid, one is sick. Well, what value is money when someone is sick? The person will spend whatever he has, and then more if it means he might get healed. How the more so when we talk about healing our souls. Through sin, our soul is lacking life. And we need to refill that life. We need to heal our souls. And in order to do so, we'll spend whatever is necessary. Give charity beyond means. And in this way, elicit from God a transcendent energy that will really heal our souls and heal even the past wrongdoings and the past missing divine connections that we were supposed to have created are now being created because of our transcendent connection to Him through that deep teshuvah and giving charity beyond the limitations of what considers quote-unquote normal. The takeaway from all of this is we have to get our priorities straight. We should not think life is about making sure I am comfortable materially. And if I am, then what's left of my money, I'll give to charity. and what's left of my energy I will spend on developing my spiritual connection to God. We got it backwards. In that sense, we are sacrificing or delaying our spiritual life for our physical. It should be the reverse. Priorities are our divine connection to God. The physical world is just a means to get there. And therefore, even if I amn't materially, quote unquote, comfortable, I still need to invest in my spiritual life because that's what's most important. And when we do that, connecting to God in this transcendent, beyond normal fashion, God will respond and give us all the blessings needed for us to continue living our transcendent life without the distractions of physical hardship. Looking forward to seeing you when we conclude letter 11.